Welcome to Let's Make Cake. I'm your host, Michelle Pyle, and we are here to kick depression and anxiety and make a new life because that's something that I did, and so I want to share that with you guys. So today's video is about patience, which is not the most fun topic or my favorite topic, but it is something important and something that I have used and I haven't used with different results. So I definitely just want to talk about that as a skill that you want to use in your life. So specifically, when you are trying to get over depression, you have to be super, super patient because all the things that you're putting in place, that you're doing to get better, it takes time. It's not like flipping a switch where overnight you're going to suddenly be better. It doesn't mean the things you're doing aren't helping. And I think that's the hardest part is figuring out how to be patient while you're taking those steps to get better and then waiting for your mind and your body to get better. And so that is just something, when I was getting over depression was just really being patient with myself, with the tools that I was using and the things that I was doing, is really just practicing that patience and kind of trusting that it is going to help if you keep doing it, and that you are doing, you want to put in the work. That's how you get better, right? Patience doesn't mean you just sit around and wait, right? You're being active, actively trying to get better and doing things to get better. And then, it's just being patient then at that point. And then we also, of course, have to use patience when we're trying to make a change or develop a new habit, which is a ton of stuff that you have to do specifically to overcome depression and anxiety. So when you are trying to make a change or form a new habit, you have to be super patient with yourself because you'll have a good week, especially with new habits where you're doing it. And then the next week, you fall off. You just have to be able to be it's okay. This is a process, and just be patient and get back up again and start again. And it can kind of feel like this, up and down, but over time that up and down is going up and up. You definitely have to be patient when you are trying to make a new life, right? So part of this whole Let's Make Cake concept isn't just fixing depression and anxiety in this silo. It's also looking at your life overall and being what are things that are missing? What are things that I need to work on? And you're kind of creating this new world in which you can thrive, to use an overused word, but it's true, and feel great. And that definitely requires patience because that is going to take time. And I like to think of it as I actually heard this in a church service, and I'm sure it's out there in the world. But yeah, you're planting seeds, and then you have to water those seeds and tend to the seeds and be patient while the seeds develop, and then you get sprouts. I know this is cheesy, but really it helps to look at life this way, I promise. Especially when you're frustrated and impatient. You've got this garden that you have planted, and now you're taking care of it. And I promise that it will produce the fruit. But you have to be patient. You have to do the work, but you have to be patient. And it's not easy. I don't want to pretend that it's easy, but I will say, why do we have to be patient? So in my experience, there have been critical moments in my life when I've been really patient with myself and with the world around me, and things I want to happen that I feel I wish they were happening sooner. But I practiced being patient, and I was doing the work and taking the steps, and also trusting that I was going to get there. And that was just a much better process than other times in my life when I have not practiced any patience and I've forced things and I've pushed and I've gotten, terrible results. So that patience actually allows for you to kind of grow into this thing that you want, right? If as you're doing the work, you're also growing so that you can become ready for this thing that you are seeking. Whereas if you're not patient and you're forceful and you push, you sometimes you're not ready then, like even if it does happen. It's try to think of it like like a good example. Well, a big one, and I think we all are guilty of this, is relationships, right? So we want to be with somebody, we're lonely, we want to be in a relationship. And instead of being patient and waiting for like the right person or a good person to come along, we just kind of attach ourselves to someone who they may be a great person, but not the person for you. But because we aren't able to be patient with ourselves, we kind of force a relationship. And that's not great. You waste their time, you waste your time. Yeah, I think we've all possibly, or at least I know many people who have done that and been there. And so that's a great way of looking at like why we have to be patient with ourselves and with the world around us. Yeah, just because otherwise, when we force things, we can get like bad results in our life. And so I think just also, then there's like patient, right? As you're being patient overall, you are going to have moments where you also have to like practice patience, which is sort of, especially if you experience anxiety like I did, you can have these like overwhelming feelings and kind of get panicky like in certain moments because you're overwhelmed with like a negative feeling because you really want something and it's not happening. I do the grounding exercise, which you guys will hear me talk about a lot, but it really helps in those moments of anxiety and panic. I do the ride the wave grounding exercise. So the wave is like that emotion that's coming on that you're not able to manage well. For me, it looked like crying and freaking out, and maybe I'm like texting and calling and getting other people in my life freaked out with me. And a much better way is to recognize I'm experiencing this wave of emotion and I need to ride this wave. I know these visualizations are super cheesy, but they work, I promise. Use them. Because once I implemented this in my life, I was like, oh, I'm not a crazy person. I just need to do a grounding exercise and let this emotion happen, and I can manage this feeling and I'm gonna be okay. And the grounding exercise that I do is 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So you engage all 5 senses. So I'll look around the room, or if I'm outside, for 5 like different shades of green or red, just pick a color. Then you listen to 4 different sounds. Then I'll touch 3 different like textures around me. And then 2 scents. So smell the air or yourself. And then taste something. So if you've got water or coffee or gum, anything. And just that really simple process will calm you down, and it will give you more confidence that the next time those feelings come up that you can manage them. And when you do that over time, you start to realize I'm actually okay and I'm going to be okay, as I'm patiently waiting for these life changes to come into fruition. So yeah, so patience is really important. As you're overcoming depression, as you're developing, new habits and making changes, and as you're creating that new life, you're planting, your garden and you're tending it and you're waiting for it to come to fruition. Patience will help you so much avoid, the wrong path, avoid big mistakes. I've done it. I'm not saying you can't get past it when you do that. But yeah, just in my life, when I have practiced patience as I'm doing the work, I've had much better outcomes than when I've been really impatient and forced things and gotten myself into sticky situations. Not to say that you can't get through them and get out of them and recover. But yeah, if we're able to use patience, we will have much better results. And again, you're not sitting still and doing nothing. You are taking steps and you're doing things and you're putting, plans, and you're trying and you're experimenting and you're, engaging with others and asking for their help. So this isn't, you're not just sitting back and doing nothing, because that would cause anxiety for anybody. But yeah, we have to just practice patience. And this is not a super fun topic, but it is important. So we'll talk a lot about like things I just wish someone had said to me. Like, hey, as you're like going through this process, you're going to have to be patient with yourself, with the world around you, with the people in your life. This is it is a process and it's going to take time. And so I want to share that with you so that you can avoid some of the pitfalls. And also I just think sometimes we assume we just know how to do things. And I don't know it. I think it's helpful to just talk about this stuff. Like, yeah, duh, patience, but let's talk about it, and let's talk about how actually it is hard and it is difficult, and how can I help you, and how can we help each other be patient. So that's what I wanted to talk about today. Super short video. It's Friday. Happy Friday. So finished a full week of videos, and I hope you guys are able to check them out and, give me feedback. Let me know what you think, and super excited to be doing this every week. And I will try to come up with maybe something a little more interesting for Fridays. But you can check me out at my website, letsmakecake.org, where you can find my email address. I'd love to hear from you, so feel free to send me an email. You can find me on Instagram, etc. So yeah, that's it. And have a great weekend, and I will see you on